Hello, and welcome again to Nürburgring. Um, I was looking for a lobby to practice some more on this track, so Nürburgring GP version, and I happened to stumble on a lobby hosted by Scottish Legends, which is the community that is hosting the endurance event on Monday that I am practicing for. So they tend to put up these practice lobbies, and in this case, the lobby was planned to have 3 races, each time preceded by a qualifying. When I found the lobby, it was at the end of the first race. So I had 2 races I could still join, which was pretty cool and fortunate to happen to stumble on it. So yeah, that was just the end of the first race. As you saw, maybe I did a 158 point something, which was quite okay. But yeah, I was just getting to grips with the new setup for the car. Then for the next qualifying, it was at night. Threw me a little bit off, although it was also very cool. I was admiring the stars when I first drove out. I hadn't really noticed those before in the game, so that was really neat. Um, on my first proper attempt, I did a 2 minute 0 seconds point 7, and then afterwards I improved. I didn't improve. I did a 2 minute 0.9. So there is plenty of room for improvement because at this point, my personal best is a 157.6. Although that was during the daytime on the track, and as I said, this did throw me off a little, so I wasn't too hard on myself about it. And anyway, it's still just meant as practice, so I'm testing different lines, etc. But right, we're on our way here. I guess it's not as clear on the video now, but this is the section where I was looking at the track on my first lap out. I was really leaning forward in my chair and just looking up through the windshield. But yeah, this lap is going quite well. I'm up about a second, and currently I'm on P3 provisionally already. So looking to improve further, but we'll see if this is even enough to catch up with the people in front, because these lobbies by Scottish Legends, they have some proper fast people. I'm not familiar before this with the name Ushvari, and I hope I'm not butchering that name, but probably am. But yeah, they turned out to be really fast, going to the low 154s. And then Zimmerman is always fast. He's a mainstay in the Scottish Legends lobbies, as well as Marty Fox, who I think isn't one of the fastest guys typically, but he's very consistent, and as I will find out, is also good at wheel-to-wheel racing. So yeah, definitely has his qualities as well. Anyway, I ended up qualifying P4 in the end, and on the start I have a good start. I managed to take that outside, which I quite like on this track for turn 1, but I am quite careful on the brakes, and even though I was looking to be on the same row for a moment as P1 and P2, I do fall back. At this point, I'm already P5. I stick to the inside of Clarence, or Rens, and I managed to keep him behind into the next corner, because yeah, I just am able to go to the apex, and at that point it's not possible to pass there anymore. So this puts me P4 on the track, which I was very happy with given the playing field. I saw behind me Longarella. Bruno Longarella is also one of the mainstays and definitely one of the faster guys. I don't want to insult anyone and say that one is faster than the other. I don't really know what the pecking order is, and I'm sure it's also different across tracks. But in any case, I do know very well that Longahela is decidedly faster than me, so I'm expecting him to come through at some point during this race, even though it's only a 15-minute race. Currently I'm trailing Marty Fox, and he had a bit of a slide coming out of 2 turns ago, so I think there's potentially a chance there to get something done and maybe move up a spot and into the podium places. Although I'm not expecting to finish on the podium, but who knows, always worth to give it a go. At first here, I thought he ran a bit deep into the last corner, but I think actually his line is just better than mine if you're not under pressure, because it does leave the door open for someone to come to the inside there. But if you're not under pressure and nobody's going to do that, then it just makes for a better and faster exit, which is very important down this straight. Clarence is now coming to the inside for me, or trying to. I didn't block it off, I left the space because I felt I would have been too late to block, but he backs out of it anyway and thinks, I suppose, about attacking at a different point. Here he's having a sniff on the inside, but I was well on the apex, so nothing doing there. Also, this section is a very short straight into a very fast corner, so difficult to overtake there, though not entirely impossible. So far I'm hanging on to P4. I am driving in my mirrors, as they say, so that makes it not possible for me to stick with Marty Fox. So Mr. Fox is driving away a bit, capping me to 1.5 seconds, up to 2 seconds roundabout. Clarence is sticking super close behind and has a better exit out of the Schumacher SS, and he comes to the inside here into the next corner. Nothing I can do at this point, so I stick to the outside. I have a pretty slow corner, and Longahella opportunistically and well drivenly, if that's a word, just follows Clarence through while I need to leave open the gap, and so I'm passed by 2 people in 2 turns. At this point too, the rest of the lobby behind seems to have dropped out, so this puts me all the way at the back of the race. Longarella has a moment into, or coming out of the chicane on the second part, so I'm thinking maybe there's a chance I can do something, but well, I still know he's fast, because even with that and with the overtake, he did a 1:57.4, which is better than my personal best on the track. And in fact, all 3 people in front of me did a lap time that's better than my personal best. So yeah, my chances are not looking good here. And that's okay. I mean, these people are just really fast, and I set out with the mindset of practicing. So here I just skipped to the end of the race because basically nothing changed. I just fell behind further and further, and I mean, I wasn't lapped or anything, but I did finish quite a bit behind the next person in front of me, which at the end of the race was Renz, with Longarella having passed Renz and Marty Fox as well. But so that was race 2. Of course, this brings us to qualifying 3, which will lead into race number 3. And in qualifying 3, I started with a 1:58.3, much better than my previous qualifying session, which was nice. I didn't manage to improve any more on it. I had another 1:58.8 and then a 1:59.3. So not too shabby, though not exactly my personal best. But yeah, I was okay with it, pretty happy. I qualified P4, I guess, again, and I'm behind Longarella, who is on P2. To my right there is Zimmerman, who will try and make a move on Ushvari. Behind me is Marty Fox. So Longarella, I think he braked quite early, and here cuts very aggressively to the inside of the corner, I feel. And he happens to run into Jeffers there. He does take the position back in turn 2. And I see that Jeffers is running quite wide, so I stick my nose in and the gap remains open, so I go in further. I about to potentially take a position, but Jeffers bumps me wide, and I slot in right behind him. With him, Jeffers running quite wide himself, Clarence sees an opportunity and goes through on the outside. I try to follow, but I get bumped again, and I lose control right after a spin, and I think I have a quite big contact with Big. I believe this was severe damage, but I wasn't really sure during the race what happened. Anyway, let's look back at the start. So we're focusing the black and white BMW, which is Jeffers. To his left there's Marty Fox, and in front of Marty Fox is me in the blue and teal Porsche. and I'm behind Longahella. So we'll see Longahella brake, I think, relatively early and then cutting across very close to the inside. And I don't think that's a good move because we're coming just out of the double column rolling start. So I think you always have to anticipate that someone from the other column will be there on the inside. But it's nothing big, nothing major. So yeah, position gained. I jump here on the inside in turn 3. But then I get bumped wide, and even with the bump, Jeffers just about stays on the track, so I don't think that was on. Here, the pass, we have another contact, maybe even a second one. I think that would be just a racing incident because we both had space on the inside and looked to squeeze the other one a bit. And then me losing control behind after that is just fully on me. I should have done better, but yeah, it was not the easiest phase and things happen. But yeah, so sorry to be big if he would ever happen to see this. Anyway, I set out to continue my race, and I'm very far behind everybody now in P11, about 10 seconds behind P10. But this race was longer than the previous one, so instead of 15 minutes, it's 25. So I do sense that there's opportunity still to be had, especially because I felt that my qualifying time was pretty representative of my ability. And assuming that's the case for the people that were behind me as well, then I think I should have time to catch up and make some moves. And so coming into the chicane for me, there's a call out for a yellow flag ahead. So presumably I'm catching up here since I wasn't losing that time. And indeed there's a slow car here on the left, Mr. Marty Fox. So first overtake done without too much effort on my end. And I'm still on my way. I skipped the next lap because really nothing happened. It's just Marty Fox was behind me. I did a 159, he did a 158.7. And importantly, Be Big in front of me did a 2-minute 02 point something. So I am catching up quite quickly to them. So my plan is definitely still on, looking to gain some more places. The gap also is down to only 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds perhaps. So yeah, pretty good. Well, I guess the timing sheet was off. Maybe it's more like 5 seconds, but anyway, it's already cut in half from how far I was behind Big before. And okay, so they come into view. I'm checking the mirror behind because Marty Fox is actually catching me relatively rapidly. But then my focus shifts to the front again because there's a big moment there with 3 cars involved and they all lose it in a hairpin. I catch up with all 3 of them, as does Marty Fox, and since I had to slow down quite a bit and he could just follow me through, he's even a bit closer coming out of the situation. So we're cutting now to his perspective because he'll be putting on quite the chase. I missed the apex in that corner and he cuts it nicely, brings him right up to my bumper. Here, I don't think my corner was the best, but since he's so close on my bumper, he can't really profit off of it because he has to kind of follow my lead in when to accelerate. He does catch up a little bit more, but I don't think enough to make a move into the chicane, which is a very risky thing to do anyway. Here again, we see this different line that he takes, where he stays wider on the entry, but then has a better exit. Also, when I was recording this clip, that's when I noticed this, and I figured, okay, I need to change my line there as well. So I won't be doing it this race, but I do hope to be doing it in the future. Marty is looking to make a move perhaps on the inside, but I saw it coming, and I figured I had to be brave on the brakes there, and I managed to retain the position. I do run wide in turn 3 here, but the gap is just small enough that Marty Fox can't make a move there. I run a bit wide coming out of the next corner, and he does come alongside here, but As mentioned before, it is possible to make a move there, but it's very risky because it's such a fast corner. I do leave the space, but I guess Marty Fox was being careful and not entirely sure about my wheel-to-wheel skills. So looking for a more surefire pass. But yeah, exciting battle anyway. Coming out of the hairpin, he's again super close behind, and we're now heading to the Schumacher S's. And here, this is really smart, I think. Before we get to the S's, he leaves a bit of a gap, so that if he has a better exit, he can immediately come alongside instead of being hampered during the turn. So coming back to my perspective, I'm a bit squeezed on the inside. I get enough space, but not much more. So I have to slow down heavily, and Marty Fox makes the move stick. So yeah, very nice and super cool battle that lasted basically a whole lap. So that was really fun. And that's why I like joining these Scottish Legends lobbies. The driving standards are so much higher than in just regular public lobbies, so that was really cool. On the side of the road, Marty Fox and me in tow passed Duchesne, I guess a Spanish person with a French name, or I don't know what ESP stands for, it's making assumptions. But this puts me in P7 and Marty Fox in front of me P6. I skip another lap because nothing much happens. Jeffers in front did a 202.0, Marty Fox a 157.7, and I myself a 158.3. So we have closed up a lot the gap to Jeffers, both Fox and Bonanza. And yeah, for me, he's definitely the next target to look for. And I'm thinking here, try to get as close as behind as possible, because I know Marty Fox seems to be quite careful about finding the right moment for an overtake. So I think it may take at least a few sectors before he makes the move. But if they are in the meantime fighting, that should allow me to catch back up. Because all in all, I do think Marty Fox is a bit faster than me. So he had gapped me a little. Then again, Jeffers was quite a bit slower, so with them battling and Fox caught behind Jeffers, I think I should be able to catch up now then. And here, Marty Fox makes the same move on Jeffers as he did on me, and makes it stick as well. So I wasn't close enough behind to try and squeeze through at the same time, but it did bring me right onto the bumper of Jeffers, and here, coming out of the previous corner, I had a better exit, so I am alongside. We're heading for the chicane though, and I don't trust him based on the lap 1 incidents to have a clean pass there. It's also just a very difficult spot to overtake, so I back out of it and wait for what I hope will be a better opportunity. I think I see it here potentially on the exit, but then, yeah, not actually the case. He even drives a bit away from me. But the lap time for Jeffers was a 201.9, and I had a 159.4, so yeah, I think it's just a matter of when, if I keep it clean. And he runs wide into turn 2. I immediately make a move on the inside. My heart was pounding there. It was really... It's not... I don't think it's a typical overtaking place, and I mean, I needed him to make the mistake to make it possible, but yeah, I was very happy with the move anyway. And quite exciting. This does make for a bit of a lull in the action, because Jeffers might be close behind, but my pace is clearly better, so I'm just gonna skip to the end of the lap. So Fox in front, 157.4, I have a 157.7, so he's just slightly driving away from me every lap. And Jeffers behind the 204.7, so quite a gap opened there in one lap. Next lap, Fox has a 157.9, a 158.0 for me, so let's say just about the same. But definitely not gaining ground for me. And then Fox has a 157.3, I have a 158.1. And one more of these. And here Fox was slowing down heavily on the side, and I thought maybe he ran out of gas. I even was under that impression looking at the replay afterwards, trying to see what happened. But anyway, I get the overtake, of course. And I asked afterwards on Discord, and it wasn't that he ran out of gas, it was just a family situation outside of the race. Something very benign, but I don't want to go into specifics because I don't know if you would like it shared on YouTube. But anyway, so P5, and that's where I end my race, with Jeffers still behind me, but at this point about half a lap behind. So I was very happy with this comeback drive. It was very fun, especially since the battle with Marty Fox was so good. So yeah, that was the end of the lobby for this Scottish Legends one. So great fortune to find the lobby, and even more looking forward to the race on Monday.